but I think especially Caitlin Clark, and I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing. When it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league, but I think that's a really fun thing. And if you have really anything negative to say about all the viewership and everything that this rookie class is doing, I just think that you're not capitalizing on it, and you might be a little jealous. So for me, I'm all for it. I'm about it. I love all this stuff.
Sophie Cunningham is officially joining forces with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and fans couldn't be more excited. Known for her fiery energy, Sophie isn't wasting any time standing up for Clark against the critics, something that can't exactly be said about the player Indiana traded to get her. That's right, Natasha Smith's time with the Fever has come to an end. Her attitude, both on and off the court, finally caught up with her. Along with her close friend and partner in drama, DeWanna Carrington, Smith had been stirring up tension in the locker room. But now? Both are heading to Dallas. So, was this just karma playing out, or is there even more behind the scenes we don't know about? Let's break it down.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
Sophie Cunningham has been eager to team up with Caitlin Clark for a while now. She's always respected Clark's game, admired her work ethic, and understood that when you have a once-in-a-generation talent like Clark, you lift her up, not tear her down. Now, that dream is finally a reality. Sophie is officially part of the Indiana Fever, and fans couldn't be more thrilled. But what makes this move even better? The Fever didn't just add the right player, they got rid of the wrong one. That's right, Natasha Smith is out. The same player who couldn't even pretend to support Clark on the court. The same Smith who brought negativity, locker room tension, and a selfish attitude that weighed the team down. With this shakeup, the Fever are looking stronger than ever.
What is that? It might not be from you, but like what is the, I mean, it feels it's not hate, but is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it just like, what is it?
Yeah, I see both sides. I'm not an extremist in any way.
Yeah.
And so I like to see both sides of each party. I think when you have older people in the league, they work their tails off and they didn't get the recognition. They don't get paid millions of dollars before they even step on the court. You know what I mean? And for them, it's all about, okay, well, what are your stats? What are you doing for the actual game? Like while you're playing.
Yeah.
And then for them,
Sophie Cunningham isn't just a great player. She's the kind of teammate every team wants. She's passionate, team-focused, and, most importantly, she respects Caitlin Clark. Sophie understands that Clark isn't just another player, she's the future of the WNBA. Smart players recognize that and play to win. Meanwhile, Natasha Smith seemed more interested in passive-aggressive antics than actually playing basketball. Fans saw it, the organization saw it, and now the Fever have made the best decision possible, moving on from Smith.
Free from folks. We are free from Natasha Smith. Natasha Smith no longer on the Indiana Fever. Kelly Krauskopf came in and said, "Oh, you gotta go."
Natasha Smith wasn't just a bad fit on the court, she was a toxic presence off it, too. Her energy felt like a storm cloud hanging over practices, games, and the locker room. The team's chemistry was off whenever she was around, and no matter how you look at it, that kind of negativity matters. She didn't respect Caitlin Clark, and it showed. From lazy defense to eye rolls to refusing to step up when it counted, her attitude was impossible to ignore.
Natasha Smith is confused as to why Indiana Fever fans don't want her on their team. And it's really not that hard to understand, Natasha. Let me tell you why. We don't even need to take into account any of your social media outbursts. We don't need to take into account any of your sub-tweets. We don't need to take into account any of your drama-chasing antics off the court. We don't need to take into account your passive-aggressive ways. You're removing the Indiana Fever one day in your bio, adding them in the next day in your bio, tweeting other people's tweets. We don't even need to take into account all the unnecessary drama and garbage that you add to this team when it comes off the court. All we really need to do is sit back and watch you on the court. It's really not that hard of a concept to grasp.
Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham has been nothing but supportive. She's the kind of player who lifts her teammates up, not drags them down. She's been vocal about admiring Caitlin Clark's game and is ready to play alongside her DeWanna Alyssa Smith, on the other hand, couldn't even pretend to care. She wouldn't defend Clark, didn't act like a real teammate, and certainly didn't play like someone determined to win.
This is amazing for women's basketball. This is amazing for women's sports in general. You have so many people, so many new and fresh eyes on our sport that maybe they're a little uneducated and maybe they kind of stir the pot a little bit. And so I get that. But for that class to come in, you have her.
The Fever are finally moving forward with a roster that actually makes sense, a team built on chemistry, respect, and a winning mentality. As for Alyssa Smith and DeWanna Carrington, let's just say they've got plenty of time to reflect on where it all went wrong. The organization finally saw what fans had been saying all along: Smith was the problem. The energy was off, the chemistry was non-existent, and the vibe? Pure negativity. But that's all in the past now. Sophie Cunningham is here, and she's exactly what this team needed. She's not just a tough, skilled player, she's a leader. The kind of teammate who lifts others up, plays with passion, and respects the game. She's been vocal about wanting to play alongside Caitlin Clark, and now she gets her chance. For Fever fans, it feels like the basketball gods finally got one right.
More breaking news. Another signing just happened. Sophie Cunningham was just acquired to the Indiana Fever. By the Indiana Fever. Oh my goodness. Within 2 hours. And guess who was gone? Alyssa Smith is gone.
Sophie Cunningham was just acquired by the Indiana Fever. Oh my goodness. And within 2 hours, guess who was gone? Alyssa Smith.
Ow! Oh, I'm sorry. You poked me in the eye. Yes, you ate Corona. You did? I did not poke you. Did you do it on purpose? I did not poke you in the eye. You did it on purpose? I got him the knee. That was my reflex. It looked like you were just laughing.
As for Alyssa Smith's departure? No tears, no farewell tribute, no emotional goodbyes, just a collective sigh of relief from Fever fans. Let's be real, Smith wasn't helping the team. She didn't bring value on or off the court. Her body language was off, her effort was inconsistent, and the way she treated Caitlin Clark, especially with that social media stunt? Straight up disrespectful.
Sophie Cunningham is not finna put up with the hate and the bullying Caitlin Clark has been receiving throughout the WNBA, because we know last year that was a big target for Caitlin Clark, was to get an enforcer. And like I keep telling y'all, Kelly Cristobal is not messing around, bro.
It was clear Alyssa Smith wasn't invested in the team's success, and honestly, the Fever are better off without that toxic energy. Just look at some of the things she said about Caitlin Clark in the past. It's no surprise the locker room felt like walking into an awkward family dinner.
So Alyssa Smith is now playing on the same team as DeWanna Carrington. For the first time since their Baylor days, they are playing on the same team. And even a couple of months ago, DeWanna was being asked about the potential of the two of them playing together, and she literally said, and she's like, "Oh, that's not going to happen. Because Connecticut aren't going to, because I'm not, basically said, I'm not leaving Connecticut, and Indiana aren't going to trade you." Turns out both of them got traded. And both of them got traded to the same team, the Dallas Wings.
Caitlin Clark has faced so much hate and bullying throughout the WNBA, especially last year, when she became a big target. People tried to get in her head, but as I keep saying, Kelly Cristobal isn't messing around.
Rest of the game, please. Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down.
But here's where it gets exciting. Sophie Cunningham's arrival isn't just a roster change, it's the start of a new era. She brings respect, hustle, and a winning mentality, everything that was missing with Smith. The Fever didn't just make a trade, they made a statement. They're done with drama and ready to win. For Caitlin Clark, the fans, and the entire organization. This is a huge win. The team is finally building something special, and with Smith out, the sky's the limit. Cunningham and Clark? That's a duo you can get behind, and no more locker room tension, no more bad vibes, just basketball played the right way. As for Alyssa Smith? Her time with the Fever is over, and something tells me the team won't be sending her a "we miss you" card anytime soon.
So anyway, Nalissa Smith is joining her teammate and her girlfriend, DeJonae Carrington. Of course, DeJonae poked out the eyeball, damn near, of Caitlin Clark last year.
For the first time since their Baylor days, DeJonae Carrington and Nalissa Smith are playing on the same team. Just a couple of months ago, DeJonae was asked about the possibility of them playing together, and she straight up said, "That's not happening." She basically implied that Connecticut wouldn't trade her, and Indiana wasn't going to trade Smith. Well, fast forward, and both of them got traded, just not to the teams they expected.
Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Speaking of Nalissa Smith, let's talk about how quickly she updated her bio after the trade. She didn't even wait for the ink to dry before announcing her move to the Dallas Wings. And here's the twist, she's reuniting with her girlfriend, DeJonae Carrington. Carrington, if you remember, made waves last season for poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, definitely not the best move for a player trying to earn respect. When you can't outplay someone, I guess you go for playground tactics. Now, with both Smith and Carrington on the same roster, Dallas might want to invest in a full-time PR team because this duo isn't exactly known for keeping things low-key. Smith struggled to find her place in Indiana, and Carrington has made more headlines for her antics than her performances. This isn't just a basketball move, it's a recipe for disaster. The Wings didn't sign a dynamic duo, they signed a walking, talking reality show. Good luck with that, Dallas, you're definitely going to need it.
So Alexa Filippo, hopefully I'm pronouncing her name properly, she is the one who's been breaking all this news. She tweeted 6-time All-Star and WNBA champ DeWanna Bonner is signing with the Indiana Fever by re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, trading for Sophie Cunningham, and signing experienced vets Bonner and Natasha Howard. The Fever have catapulted into the title conversation, and I couldn't agree with her more.
The Indiana Fever are thriving this offseason. They've gone from a playoff team to one with real championship potential. The Fever are laser-focused and moving forward without distractions, while Smith and Carrington are likely to bring nothing but headaches to the Dallas Wings. Let's be honest, Indiana fans are celebrating. They finally got what they've been asking for. Nalissa Smith is gone, and with her exit, the dark cloud of negativity hanging over the team has disappeared. It feels like the air is fresher, the vibes are better, and the locker room now feels like a place where winning is the priority. Smith didn't just underperform on the court, she showed no loyalty to the fanbase that once cheered for her. Remember when Carrington openly disrespected Fever fans? Where was Smith then? Silent. No defense of her team, no leadership, nothing. It was clear her connection to Indiana was surface level at best. The Fever deserve better, and now, they've got it.
The Dallas Wings have already got a replacement. Literally. The Dallas Wings have already got have already signed the replacement for Nalissa Smith. They signed Maisha Hines-Allen. And not only that, they're paying Maisha Hines-Allen nearly a max.
The real masterminds behind this transformation? Kelly Croxton, Amber Cox, and Stephanie White. They've been hard at work this off-season, making all the right moves to turn the Fever into legitimate contenders. Re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, one of the league's most electrifying scorers, was a no-brainer. But adding veteran superstar DeWanna Bonner? That's a game-changer. Bonner brings elite scoring, lockdown defense, and a championship pedigree. Her leadership alone makes the Fever more dangerous than ever, and don't forget about Natasha Howard. Bringing her back ensures Indiana's frontcourt stays dominant with a defensive anchor who knows exactly what it takes to win. Plus, Sydney Coulson? Pure vibes off the court and a solid backup for Caitlin Clark whenever she needs a rest.
Now, Sophie Cunningham is a good player. She can shoot the three. She can 3-and-D it. She's pretty good on defense. She's fast. I think the Fever are looking for the fast pace.
With these additions, the Fever have gone from a team weighed down by players like Smith to a true WNBA powerhouse. No more dead weight, no more players standing by while the organization and its fans get disrespected. The Fever now have players who fight for their city, their teammates, and their fans.
Someone also, if you guys remember back at WNBA All-Star, there was this clip that was going viral where Sophie grabbed Caitlin and was like, hey, do you want to come to Phoenix? And she has been very vocal in the media that she loves Caitlin Clark's game and she would love to play with her at some point. And so I just feel like she is going to be a great fit for this team.
Indiana fans no longer have to watch a player coast through games with zero passion. Instead, they've got a roster full of winners, players who appreciate the support, respect the game, and deliver results. The Fever are back, stronger than ever. The future is bright, and the championship window is wide open. It all started with cutting ties with the weak links. Meanwhile, over in Dallas, Alyssa Smith is already facing an uncertain future. She showed up thinking she'd be a key piece, but with the Wings stacking their roster, her role is fading fast, just like her impact in Indiana. She's on borrowed time, and honestly, the writing's on the wall. The Fever made moves that signaled they were done with mediocrity, and Smith's departure was the first step. She was never the elite player Indiana needed, no leadership, no defensive grit, just flashes of potential that never turned into consistent success. Dallas will figure that out soon enough. Smith isn't built for a team chasing greatness, but Indiana? They've got their eyes on the prize, and nothing's holding them back now.
She's trying to get title contention. And I'm telling you right now, the Indiana Fever is definitely contenders. Even ESPN themselves is starting to believe that. Rebecca Lobo weighs in on it.
The Indiana Fever have completely reinvented themselves, embracing a bold new identity. By signing key free agents while keeping their core of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull intact, this isn't the same struggling franchise from previous years. This team is built for championship contention. The addition of DeWanna Bonner brings more than just veteran experience. She brings a winner's mentality that was sorely needed. Add Natasha Howard's return, and now the Fever have a defense that's tougher, grittier, and ready to dominate the paint. Every move the Fever made this offseason wasn't just smart, it was strategic, crafted to turn them into a powerhouse. Meanwhile, over in Dallas, Alyssa Smith is already struggling to find her place amidst a flood of new talent. She's quickly fading into the background, and it's only a matter of time before she's pushed out of the rotation entirely.